Youth make mistakes, they must be corrected. Confess for one's own ignorance and atone for one's past youth. Pick up your chi and soul in your hand, conquer the 3 realms of Futian, and defend our homeland with strength. Keywords of the novel. No pop-ups for Extreme Futian. Download the complete collection of Extreme Futian TXT, and read the latest chapters of Extreme Futian. Chapter 1. The Netherworld Dungeon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The Netherworld Dungeon Dojia 5 continents. Zhongzhou continent is the highest peak in the world, and also the location of the top power in the world. There are many talented disciples in our sect. Fengzhu is also known as the number 1 person in the world. The Tianyi Peak is located in a total of 9 major mountain ranges, with the Tianyi mountain range as the main one and also the location of the world's largest peak. The Ghost Mountain Range has been the place where the Tianyi Peak has imprisoned the world's strong and traitors throughout history. The Ghost Mountain Range is notorious, and most of the strong in the world turn pale upon hearing it, especially the Ghost Peak. I don't know how many of the world's top powerhouses are imprisoned here. It's not that the guards here are very strict, on the contrary, there is no one guarding here. Because all the people detained here have been stripped of their cultivation, broken their tendons and even entangled in cold iron chains, with no possibility of escape. Rather than calling this a prison, it's more like calling it a place to throw corpses. How could I be here? It hurts so much. A young man with a disheveled hair and a waist entangled in a cold iron chain let out a moan as he lay on the ground like a dead dog, surrounded by corpses entangled in the cold iron chain like him. Chi and soul are scattered, cultivation is ruined, all meridians are broken, and at the same time, the tendons of the hands and feet are also broken. Leaving this 10,000 zhang underground dungeon, he can still survive, truly worthy of being a disciple of the Zhonglong Ling family. There is an old man near the young man, whose situation is even more desolate than the young man. It's not just about being entangled in a cold iron chain, but being directly pierced through the body. This situation is astonishing, and no one expected that people who were tortured like this could still live. What's this place? How could I be here? It hurts so much. My hands and feet can't even move. Who's talking? Youth is one of the 5 major dragon soul families, and the genius disciple of the Ling family, Ling Yun. He fell in love with the saint of one of the 9 peaks in the world, and thus turned against his family. However, he did not want them to approach him, just to obtain the highest cultivation method of their Ling family's azure dragon spirit. It was already too late when he learned all of this. The person he regarded as the one he loved in this life inflicted a cruel blow on him, not only destroying his cultivation, but also crushing his spirit and soul, breaking his tendons and throwing him into this 10,000-foot dungeon. You can turn over and see the old man. The old man is right behind Ling Yun. If he doesn't speak, others won't even think he's alive. The old man had already confirmed Ling Yun's identity before this. Ling Yun carries the totem of the Ling family on his back. After the birth of the Ling family disciples, their elders will carve the family totem behind them. Ling Yun suppressed the pain on his body and used all his strength to turn over. When he saw the old man, he was startled. The old man's eyes were dug out and his feet were cut off. 2 cold iron chains passed through his shoulders and also wrapped around his collarbone. However, there was a 3rd eye above the old man's forehead, which was his soul eye. As long as the soul eyes are closed, no one can detect it. He is the only one among all the people thrown here who has been pierced by a cold iron chain and wrapped around his collarbone. Did I scare you like this? The old man smiled and said, he has been trapped here for many years and has long looked at it. Senior, what is this place? How could you still be here? Ling Yun asked. He had no idea that he was currently in the terrifying dungeon of Tianyi Peak. You don't even know where this place is. You should know how you got into it, right? The old man is a bit speechless. This is the peak of the world. If you don't know where this is, then how did Ling Yun come from? Previously, the old man speculated that Ling Yun should have accidentally crossed the Tianxia Peak, which is why he was thrown here by the people of Tianxia Peak. I was harmed by a slut. As for where this is, I really don't know. When Ling Yun was brought here, he was already unconscious. Kid, you are not a pure yang, it seems that you have taken a considerable advantage. Women from Tianxia Peak are not so delicious. Haha, the old man burst into laughter, and the so-called pure yang body naturally refers to the body of a child. He couldn't believe that Ling Yun was tricked by a woman and thrown into this place. Senior, you said this is the peak of the world. Ling Yun currently does not know the true identity of the person who harmed him. But when you hear the 3 words, Tianxia Peak, you understand. At the same time, it also reflected that the old man had indirectly told him where he was at that moment. The 3 characters, Tianxia Peak, have a sufficient amount. Ling Yun's face immediately changed dramatically, trembling with fear. Not bad, this is Tianxia Peak. As a disciple of the Zhanglong Ling family, you probably haven't heard the saying, once you enter the Yuming Peak, everything becomes empty. The old man smiled and said. Ah, how did the senior know that I was from the Ling family? Ling Yun has never heard of the existence of the Yuming Peak, but he just doesn't know where it is. At the same time, he was curious about how the old man knew he was a disciple of the Ling family, even though his eyes were gouged out. Whoosh, soul eye, who is the senior? The old man lifted his head and opened the soul eye on his forehead. Ling Yun had also heard about soul eye, which is a remarkable divine power in the world, but it is only a legend. The old man in front of me actually has soul eyes, he is definitely not an unknown person. Kid, you have a good understanding. You actually know the existence of the soul eye. It seems that your position in the Ling family should be quite high. You are the first person in the Ling family to be thrown into this place, and the corpse 10 zhang away from you is from the Qing Long Shao family. The corpse 20 zhang away from your head should be from the Mo Long Qin family. As for the other people, I don't recognize them, but they are definitely the top experts in the world. If you were thrown in, it shows that they look up to you. Otherwise, they must hate you very much. The old man smiled, and although he didn't tell Ling Yun who he was, he told him a huge secret. The Qing Long Shao family was wiped out 800 years ago, while the Mo Long Qin family was wiped out overnight over 1,000 years ago. In this dark dungeon, in addition to the members of these 2 dragon soul families, there are also top experts who have disappeared from various forces in the world. What exactly does Tianxia Peak want to do? Ling Yun turned his head and looked around at the corpses, feeling extremely shocked. The Shao family, Qin family, and their Ling family are all one of the 5 major dragon soul families. The disappearance of these 2 families has been being investigated by both the Ling family and the other 2 families. Unify the world, Haotian's ambition is not ordinary. Kid, you are the only one who survived among all the people thrown here. The old man smiled and said. Isn't the senior still alive? Ling Yun smiled bitterly. His current situation was even more unbearable than death, and even more so, he was afraid he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. However, he was very curious about how the old man survived. His situation was much worse than him, and he should also be like him, with his cultivation exhausted and his energy and soul defeated. In this situation, how can he survive without food? I died 3,000 years ago. However, Haotian never expected that I would develop the extreme soul eye and lock my divine soul inside my body, so as not to lose my soul. If Ling Yun approaches the old man, he can sense that there is no sign of anger on his body. This is completely a dead person, talking to the spirit of the old man. 3,000 years ago, my senior was Doluo. Ling Yun couldn't believe that the person in front of him was actually the first person in the Dongzhou continent, that Doluo old man, who had a great battle with the world peak Lord Haotian 3,000 years ago. I can't believe anyone remembers my name. Kid, Would you be willing to learn from me? Dolua old man asked. Senior, I look like this now. Even if I learn from my senior, I won't be able to live long. Isn't it a white-headed person giving a black-headed person away? Ling Yun also wants to learn from Dolua old man. But in his current situation, even if he becomes a disciple, it is uncertain whether he can survive for a few days. Furthermore, his spirit and energy have already disintegrated, and his entire body's meridians have been completely broken. There is no fundamental cultivation in this life, so why bother to deceive others by becoming a disciple? A new book has been launched, and we hope everyone can support us. Please collect and recommend tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Rescue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Rescue. Little one, I can help you renew your meridians and concentrate your energy and soul. However, if you worship me as your teacher, then you must inherit my last wish and challenge Haotian to slay Yao Qi in the future. Would you be willing to do so? How could Dolua old man not know about Ling Yun's situation, but since he can speak up, he can naturally help him resume his cultivation. But, Ling Yun frowned. I thought to myself, even if old Dolua can really help him resume his cultivation, but he cannot leave here, it will be of no use. The underworld dungeon, but no one has ever been able to leave alive. Little one, your mother.in.law, are you willing or unwilling? Dolua, the old man, appeared very impatient and asked sternly. Willing, even if you die, to become your disciple is still a blessing. Disciple Ling Yun, bow down to your master. Ling Yun thought for a moment and finally agreed. He just couldn't get up, so he had to rely on his mouth to pay his respects. Okay, Before all the gods and souls are destroyed, I can still accept another disciple. Heaven treats me well. I will adopt the extreme soul eye into your body to help you renew your meridians and open up your soul consciousness. Dolua old man said. His soul eyes left his body and sank into the center of Ling Yun's eyebrows. After entering the center of Ling Yun's eyebrows, the extreme soul light generated a powerful force that quickly repaired Ling Yun's meridians. In the end, the extreme soul light transformed into Ling Yun's new elixir field, giving him the opportunity to repair his chi soul in the future. The soul eye left Dolua old man's body, and his divine soul naturally entered Ling Yun's body along with him. It is precisely because of the manipulation of the divine soul that the extreme soul eye can help Ling Yun repair his meridians and reunite with the elixir field. Master, if you give me your soul eye, wouldn't you? Ling Yun knew that Dolua old man had scattered his soul eye to help him reunite with the Dantian. This soul eye was gone, and Dolua old man's divine soul would also be extinguished. Because extreme soul eye is the divine soul of Dolua old man. Having been here for 3,000 years, I have been tired and tired. My soul eye has dispersed and will no longer exist. Unfortunately, this ultimate soul eye was buried before it could conquer the world. I hope my disciple can practice the limit again in the future and open the soul eye again. Even if I take you as an apprentice, I will naturally pass on your innate secret record. This is what a teacher must learn, and it was created by combining the strengths of the world's martial arts. Your eldest and second senior brothers have not been able to cultivate this skill. If you go to the eastern region in the future, why don't you go find them? The voice of Dolua old man became very weak, which was caused by helping Ling Yun repair his meridians just now. Can disciples really leave here alive? Although Ling Yun's meridians and elixir fields have been restored at this time, his hand and foot muscles are still broken, and he still has no cultivation at all. It is impossible to leave this 10,000 zhang underground dungeon. Someone has come to save you. The voice of Dolua old man became quieter and quieter, and after saying the last sentence, it dissipated. He left the congenital secret record in Ling Yun's mind. The reason why Dolua old man chose to take Ling Yun as his disciple is because his divine soul sensed that someone outside came to rescue Ling Yun, who was from the Canglong Ling family. Master, Ling Yun frowned and shouted, but he could no longer receive a response from Dolua Old Man. Young Master Yun, Young Master Yun, Young Master Yun, where are you? Two masked men in black jumped into the vast underground dungeon, which was not small and the lighting was not very good. In addition, due to the special environment here, ordinary people's soul sense cannot detect it. This is the voice of Uncle Pooh and Uncle Han. Uncle Pooh, I'm here. Ling Yun heard the sound and immediately spoke in response. The people who came to save him were one of his old servants from the Ling family, and the other was his father's friend Han Chen. Young Master Yun is indeed still alive, that's great. Ling Pooh found Ling Yun and immediately took out a pill to take. The Ling family has always placed disciples in the Tianyi Peak. When Ling Yun was taken to the underworld dungeon, the disciples of the Ling family immediately summoned him back to the Ling family for help. Ling Yun is the young master of the Ling family. Just because of that woman, she broke with her father and left the Ling family. Xianming Cold Iron, fortunately I brought the breaking dragon blade. Han Chen saw the cold iron chain wrapped around Ling Yun's body and immediately pulled out the Ling family's precious, breaking dragon blade, to cut it off. Pooh Bo, Uncle Han, how could you come to save me? Ling Yun was carried away by Ling Pooh, and tears couldn't help but flow down. Young Master Yun, although you left home in frustration, the head of the house knows that you have had an accident, how can you sit idly by? Ling Pooh said. My dad is also here. Ling Yun was surprised and filled with regret. Yunner, you are too immature. Han Chenyu said heartily. The two of them leaped up with Ling Yun and left the underworld dungeon. Outside of Yuming Peak, the leader of the Ling family fought against the three top experts of Tianyi Peak and remained undefeated. Moreover, he had not yet used the Azure Dragon Spirit, and he did not want the people of Tianyi Peak to know his identity. Whoosh, bang, a long sword pierced through the air and came straight towards the head of the Ling family. The sword was very powerful, and it also carried a majestic aura of dominating the world. The sword energy manifested as a dragon head form. The three top experts of the Tianyi Peak sensed the long sword flying and immediately retreated. Faced with the attack of the long sword, the head of the Ling family could not help but use the Azure Dragon Spirit, and only by using the Azure Dragon Spirit can they unleash the Ling family's Azure Dragon combat skills. The leader of the world's peaks is truly renowned, The heavens are above. After the head of the Ling family blocked the long sword, he used the Tsanglong battle technique to repel the three top experts who rushed forward again. Taking the opportunity to leave, he received a message from Cold Dust and knew that they had rescued Ling Yun, so there was no need to continue fighting. How impressive! Who the hell is this guy? The Ghost Ancestor, one of the three top experts, exclaimed in surprise. Because the head of the Ling family covered his face, although he finally used a dragon battle technique, they were unaware of this move. Ling Tsangqiong. Apart from him, there is no second person in the Ling family who can withstand the move we just made. The Heavenly Peak Master said coldly. Nowadays, there are not many people in the world that he can fear, but the head of the Ling family is one of them. Ling Yun was taken away from Tianyi Peak by Ling Pooh and Han Chen, and they found a place to help him connect his tendons and tendons. Master, you are injured. Ling Pooh saw that the head of the Ling family had a very bad expression and asked anxiously. Well, Haotian is too powerful. If it weren't for his injuries caused by Dolua's innate gang cheat 3,000 years ago and not his recovery, this seat wouldn't be his opponent at all. What's wrong with Yunner? Ling Tsangqiong said with lingering palpitations. 3,000 years ago, the first peak lord in the world, Haotian, was actually defeated by Dolua Old Man. However, Dolua Old Man came alone. Although he defeated Haotian severely, he was killed by another person. That poisonous woman is too ruthless. She ruined young Master Yun's cultivation, shattered his elixir field, and even broke his tendons and tendons. Good young Master Yun fell on a pile of bones, otherwise he would have to be shattered to pieces. When Han Chen mentioned Ling Yun's situation and thought about what he saw in the underworld dungeon, it was simply shocking. The reason why Ling Yun was thrown into the underworld dungeon and did not fall to death was entirely because of his good luck, hitting a pile of bones and landing with force. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Leaving the Ling family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Leaving the Ling family. At this moment, Ling Yun reunited with a new Dantian hidden beneath the original Dantian, while his original Dantian Qi mansion was still scattered inside his body, so cold dust did not notice the existence of Ling Yun Daoji. It's okay to scrap it. Ling Tsangqiong spoke, but his heart was filled with pain. Ling Yun is his son, with the highest quality and strongest understanding of the Azure Dragon spirit. At the age of 18, he reached the Soul King realm and became the first person in the younger generation of the Ling family without regrets. Now that one's cultivation is completely ruined and even their elixir fields have been destroyed, they are truly useless. Master Han has already helped young Master Yun fix his tendons. Now young Master Yun is out of danger. Ling Pu said that he knew Ling Tsangqiong was very concerned about his son, otherwise he wouldn't have risked his life to rescue Ling Yun without hiding from all the clan elders. Dad, Ling Yun walked over from the wooden house, his ankle just connected, and he stumbled like a 3-year-old child, walking in a drunken and floating manner. Ling Tsangqiong looked at Ling Yun's current appearance and felt heartbroken. Ah! Ling Yun walked over and fell to the ground due to momentary instability. Ling Tsangqiong closed his eyes and did not go to help him. For Ling Yun, who left home feeling angry at the time, he didn't care at the moment, he just hated iron for not turning into steel. Young Master Yun, please admit your mistake to the master quickly. Ling Pu grew up watching Ling Yun grow up. He knew that the two father and son had the same temperament. Otherwise, it might not have come to this. At this moment, Ling Yun is facing such a great difficulty, and he should be able to turn around as a prodigal son, understanding all the hardships of his father. No need, you turn around. Ling Tsangqiong spoke before Ling Yun could speak. Hiss, whoosh ah. After learning that he had been deceived, Ling Yun realized his mistake. Everything blames oneself for being young, reckless, and immature. Just as Ling Yun was walking behind him, Ling Tsangqiong tore off his clothes and used his fingers as a knife to cut off the dragon totem on his back. Ling Yun let out a scream and turned to look at the human skin totem in his father's hand in horror. Homeowner, brother, Ling Pu and Han Chen were both frightened by Ling Tsangqiong's action. How painful it was to tear off a fist-sized piece of human skin from their bodies. But it couldn't compare to Ling Tsangqiong's heartache at this moment. From today on, you are no longer a disciple of the Ling family. Ling Tsangqiong took a deep breath and gritted his teeth, saying. This green dragon totem represents the identity of a disciple of the Ling family. At this moment, it has been torn off from Ling Yun, which may mean driving him out of the Ling family. Dad, Ling Yun knows how outrageous his mistake was this time, but he really hopes his father can forgive him. But he also knew his father's temper, and once his words were spoken, there was no room for recovery. Remember, you are no longer a disciple of the Ling family, and everything in the Ling family has nothing to do with you anymore. Even if you have descendants in the future, you cannot pass on the Ling family's Tsanglong Gong. If you violate it, you will be punished. Ling Tsangqiong said. Dad, I was wrong. Please forgive me. Ling Yun has already guessed his father's decision. This is to send him away. If he is sent away today, their father and son may have no chance to meet again in this lifetime. Brother Han, take him to the dragon burial village in the mainland of Beizhou to enjoy the rest of your life. Ling Yun leaked the Ling family's Tsanglong Gong this time, and according to clan rules, Ling Qi should be executed. If he is not expelled from the house at this time, even as the head of the family, he cannot be saved, so Ling Tsangqiong has to bear the pain. The burial dragon villa is what the population of the Tsanglong family said, but in fact, it is the Beiyun mountain villa of cold dust. Han Chen and Ling Xiangqiong are sworn brothers. Originally, Ling Yun married the daughter of Han Chen, but Ling Yun regretted getting married for a woman he met. "Brother, I know how to do it." At this moment, Han Chen also guessed Ling Xiangqiong's intention. As long as Ling Yun is alive, it is more important than anything else, at least it can preserve the fragrance and blood vessels. Although Ling Yun is no longer a disciple of the Ling family, he is also the son of Ling Xiangqiong. "Brother Han, don't burden yourself. Just help him create a good family. Ling Er has excellent looks and exceptional intelligence, and he is no longer worthy of her. Now that his engagement has been terminated, don't miss her anymore." Ling Xiangqiong was worried that Han Chen might misunderstand his meaning, so he explained and handed Han Chen a set of unparalleled martial arts preserved by the Ling family as compensation. The termination of the engagement was a unilateral decision by their father and son. Brother Han Chen really plans to betroth his daughter to Ling Yun. But at this moment, Ling Xiangqiong had already talked about it, so he had no choice but to give up. After all, his woman is also the darling of a generation. "Master Yun, this is for you from the master." Ling Pu now knows why Ling Xiangqiong brought him a bundle when he came out. It seems that Ling Xiangqiong was already prepared. "Dad, my child is unfilial. We can't always be left and right now. We must repay our father's kindness in giving birth and nurturing in the future." Ling Yun knelt on the ground and tapped his head 3 times. "Don't come back again." Ling Xiangqiong turned around and couldn't help but burst into tears. "Yuner, let's go, brother. Goodbye." As Ling Xiangqiong turned around, Sai Chen saw that his eyes had turned red and knew the sadness in his heart. At this moment, Ling Xiangqiong turned his back to Ling Yun, just wanting to preserve a trace of his father's dignity. "Master, young Master Yun and Master Han have already left." After Han Chen and Ling Yun walked away, Ling Pu finally spoke up. "Just live, Yuner. Don't blame your father for being cruel. In order to save you, the family can only avoid the world and seal the mountains." Ling Xiangqiong looked at the direction of Ling Yun's departure and said in a low voice. This time, in order to save Ling Yun, he bravely broke through the Tianxia Peak. This has given Tianxia Peak an excuse to deal with their Ling family. If the Ling family does not avoid the world and seal the mountain, the consequences will be unimaginable. There is an endless sea between the 5 continents of the world. If Han Chen were alone, he could have flown away. But with Ling Yun, who had no cultivation at this time, he could only choose to go by ferry. There are 2 other methods from the 5 continents besides the strong flying in the air. One is to use a cloud boat to soar in the sky, while the other is to cross the sea by taking a large passenger boat. It only takes 1 month to travel by cloud boat between the 5 continents, while crossing the sea takes 2 to 3 years. As the head of a village, Han Chen has a good relationship with the Ling family, so his financial resources are naturally not a problem. 3 months later the Chuanyun boat was too ostentatious, so after Han Chen brought Ling Yun into the mainland of Beizhou, he put away the Chuanyun boat and walked with Ling Yun to his Beiyun mountain villa. Ling Yun's cultivation has been completely lost. Perhaps even when he arrives at Beiyun villa, he will no longer have the opportunity to see the world and travel around the world in this life. This is also the reason why Han Chen chose to walk. Along the way, he explained to Ling Yun what he saw and heard, as well as the terrain and mountains. This is like taking Ling Yun on a trip to explore the mountains and water. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 9-Stage Warcraft, Wisteria Lion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 9-Stage Warcraft, Wisteria Lion Purple Cloud Mountain Range. This is the famous land of the Demon Domain Mountain Range in the mainland of Beizhou. Ordinary people dare not cross this mountain range at will. Because there are Warcraft of level 5 or higher here. Just crossing through the Purple Cloud Mountains, it is also the closest road to Beiyun Villa. Unconsciously, Han Chen had already traveled with Ling Yun on the land of Peking University for more than half a year, and it was also time to rush back to the mountain villa. Cold Dust has a profound cultivation. Even if he encounters a 7th level monster, he doesn't take it seriously, which is why he dares to ignore the danger here. Yun'er, after passing the Purple Cloud mountain range ahead, we can reach Baiyun Villa in at most 3 months' journey. After arriving at Baiyun mountain range, Uncle Han will propose marriage for you and bring you all the beautiful women in the area of Baiyun Villa. You can choose. What do you think? Han Chen smiled and said. He, the head of Baiyun Manor, has a lot of energy. If he personally comes forward to help Ling Yun get married, he will naturally be surrounded by beautiful women. Uncle Han, Yun'er doesn't want to get married yet. Ling Yun has made up his mind to recultivate. After what happened before, he had already lost his heart to love. His original intention was to follow Han Chen to Baiyun Mountain Villa and reunite his spirit. After he had a certain level of cultivation, he would venture into the northern continent, so that he could return to the central continent for revenge and also help his master fulfill his wish. That's not possible. How could a man be without a wife? You are my nephew from Han Chen, and from now on, you will be the young master of the Baiyun mountain range. If you don't have a wife and children, wouldn't you be laughed at? That's the deal. Han Chen is not joking with Ling Yun. He already had this idea. It's like compensating Ling Yun. With the power of his Baiyun Villa, it is not a matter of words to help Ling Yun obtain several marriages. Uncle Han, I really don't want to get married. If you force me, then I won't go. Ling Yun stopped with a very resolute attitude. Hee, that's not up to you. The Purple Cloud mountain range is one of the famous Warcraft mountains in the northern continent. If you don't leave, you have to stay here to feed the Warcraft. Han Chen chuckled inwardly. Xiao Yan, I can't cure you yet. Uncle Han, you're too deceitful. Even if you marry me, I won't touch them. Ling Yun has a resolute attitude. A twisted melon is not sweet. How can we force marriage matters? Don't worry about this, Uncle Han has a solution. The reason why your father married your mother is not your Uncle Han's idea. To sum up, Han Chen is still Ling Zhangxiong's matchmaker, with all sorts of devilish ideas in his belly. What? Uncle Han, please spare me. Ling Yun begged for mercy, and his heart was filled with continuous grievances. During their conversation, their uncle and nephew had already entered the Purple Cloud mountain range. At this moment, experts from 3 sects near the Purple Cloud mountain range were all here. Seeing uncle and nephew Han Chen passing by, they couldn't help but look at them. After giving them a glance, Han Chen released his aura and warned them not to provoke him. Hush, don't go over there. That person's cultivation is far above ours. I can't believe there is such a master in the southern area of the Xian Mountains. One of the sect leaders sensed the aura of Cold Dust and took a cold breath to prevent his followers from provoking Cold Dust. The leaders of the other 2 sects are also like this. All 3 of them are at the level of Soul Emperor, and the aura that can make them feel intimidated is definitely a person from the 3 extremes realm. The so-called 3 poles are Human Pole, Earth Pole, and Celestial Pole. The other party should just be passing by. It's better not to provoke. Master Chang, this time our 3 sects are working together. If we kill the Purple Vine Wild Lion, who should its magic core belong to? Fengyun Lu Zhu looked at Xian sect leader Chang and asked happily. This allows the leaders of the 3 factions to join forces and enter the Purple Cloud mountain range. Only with the appearance of 7th level and above Warcraft can this charm be found. The Wisteria lion is originally a high-level monster, with a level of 7 or higher equivalent to the Soul Emperor level. Its magic core is priceless, even more expensive than the spiritual object it guards. Whoever wants this magic core must bring out the corresponding item to exchange, and the 3 factions are here to avoid spear shields. The head of Yuxia sect spoke up to remind the Lord of Fengyun that they should not consider him non-existent. Master Yuxia's words are extremely reasonable. The Zhidong is a 7th level demon beast. Although it was discovered by our disciples of Xian sect first, we three need to work together to kill it. Naturally, we need to distribute it evenly. Any shortcomings will be replaced by other things. Chang Zaihuan didn't want to cause a split among the three factions before killing the purple vine lion, so this allocation naturally needs to be explained first. Since Master Chang said that, then I can rest assured. Without delay, the three of us will enter the interior of the mountain to lure out the purple vine wild lion, and then let the disciples of the three sects enter to retrieve the contents inside. The wind and cloud building master nodded in response. Although their cultivation levels are all at the Soul Emperor level, the purple cloud sect leader has the strongest strength. So he had to bring up this matter, but in fact, he wanted to try the attitude of the purple cloud sect leader. Okay, let's go. Chang Zaihuan and Master Yuxia nodded one after another, agreeing to this matter. A 10-zhang tall wisteria lion lies dormant in its cave in the mountain, surrounded by rare amethysts in the world. F contains the vitality of heaven and earth, belonging to currency, while amethyst is the most valuable crystal among crystals. In the places where high-level Warcraft appear, there are spiritual beings from heaven and earth. In addition to amethysts, there is also a amethyst lotus flower in the cave. The three of them were often surprised when they saw each other. The value of this amethyst lotus flower is countless times stronger than the 7th level magic core. But they didn't know that the wisteria lion in front of them was not what they thought, but a 7th level monster, but a 9th level monster. As the three of them approached the purple lotus, the purple vine lion woke up. Roar! The purple vine lion, upon seeing that Chang Huan and the three of them had the idea of using the purple crystal lotus, suddenly became furious and roared loudly, while also emitting its aura. No, it's not a 7th level monster, run quickly. Chang Zaihuan was the first to react and turned around, rushing out of the cave. Although the amethyst lotus is good, one must have life to take it. 9 level Warcraft. Those clumsy protein idiots have provoked them. Yuner, run quickly. Han Chen heard the roar of the wisteria lion and turned around to sense its momentum. His face changed greatly and he quickly ran away, pulling Ling Yun. The 9th level demon beast is equivalent to the realm of the Earth's poles. Although Cold Dust is not afraid of it, he naturally dares not take risks with Ling Yun. Roar, damn human race, dare to disturb my beautiful dreams. The purple vine in the Earth's realm surrounds me. The purple vine wild lion chased after Chang Zaihuan and the three of them. Seeing the disciples of the three sects running around, it unleashed its innate powers with a strong killing intent. Its front paws rushed out from around it, winding around with purple crystal vines. Ah, Master, save me, Master, help me. No, the wisteria lion unleashed its power, and in the blink of an eye, more than half of the disciples of the three sects were killed or injured. As for Chang Zaihuan, the three of them had no intention of rescuing everyone. This was a 9th level demon beast, which was completely beyond their control. Uncle Han, why do we have to run? It's not that we provoked it. Ling Yun said. Are they running a bit unfairly? As far as he knows, advanced Warcraft all possess spiritual intelligence, and it's not because they provoked them that they shouldn't be chasing them. Fool, I pose the greatest threat to it here. With a Warcraft personality, I naturally have to deal with it first. No good, it's here. Cold Dust's cultivation level is in the extreme realm, equivalent to the 9th level of Warcraft. When the wisteria lion came out, it sensed the aura of Han Chen and thought he was the mastermind, so it naturally wouldn't give up easily. This is also due to Cold Dust's previous release of momentum. If he doesn't release his momentum, they will be the farthest away at this time, and the wisteria lion will naturally not target them. Han Chen swung his knife backwards, cutting off the purple crystal vine. Then, he urged his soul to release his true cold ice energy and attack the purple vine lion, forcing it back. Yuner, I'll block it. You run over there and I'll find you later. Han Chen saw the Zhidong lion chasing after him, and it was not easy for him and Ling Yun to escape from the Zidong Quang lion's pursuit. He had to let Ling Yun leave first. At this moment, the 9th level Warcraft appears, and nearby Warcraft sense its presence and naturally dare not linger. Therefore, as long as Ling Yun does not run too far, he should not encounter other Warcraft. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Gathering of Qi and Soul. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Gathering of Qi and Soul. Cold dust is the pinnacle of the earth, and its strength is still above this Wisteria lion. It is not difficult to defeat it with his power, but it is difficult to kill it. The Wisteria lion had a big battle with Han Chen. After learning about Han Chen's strength, it could only obediently retreat, but that was already a few hours later. Yun'er, where are you? After Han Chen repelled the purple vine lion, he couldn't find Ling Yun, so he became anxious now. He searched in the Ziyun mountains for a day and a night without finding Ling Yun's whereabouts, and even forced Ziyun Gate, Fengyun Tower, and Yuxia sect members to enter the Ziyun mountains to help him search, but after 3 days of searching, he found nothing. Brother, Han Chen is sorry for you. Yun'er, Uncle Han is even more wrong with you. I originally wanted to take you on a trip, but unexpectedly caused you to die in the Purple Cloud Mountains. Woo. Han Chen is a person who values emotions and righteousness. At this moment, he thought that Ling Yun had died, and regardless of his old face, he burst into tears. Chang Zai Huan, the 3 of them, and the disciples of the 3 sects were all there. Seeing Han Chen, a powerful figure who could even intimidate a 9th level monster, he burst into tears in front of him and couldn't help but sigh. Listen, you bastards. My son Yun'er was buried here because of you. From now on, every festival and death day, you must come to pay respects on behalf of me. If there is any negligence, I will slaughter all of you. Han Chen thought that Ling Yun had died and felt heartbroken. Because the body could not be found, he helped Ling Yun establish an empty tomb here, and he planned to return to the mainland of Zhongzhou to compensate Ling Sangqiong with his life. Yes, it's senior. Every year during the Qingming festival and the Double Ninth festival, as well as the anniversary of Yunshao's death, we must come to pay our respects. Often secretly lamenting in the hearts of Huan San and repeatedly responding. No, I have to come for the 1st and 15th days of junior high school. Yun'er is too lonely here alone. It was not easy for him to escape from the brink of death. I didn't expect it. Big brother, it's me who's useless, I'm sorry for you, let alone my sister. Law. Woo. Han Chen pointed very domineeringly at Chang Zai Huan, the 3 of whom were afraid to say a word no, and he would all start killing. Ling Yun's little life was saved by his father at the risk of his life from the underworld dungeon, and he died here. How can he explain this to Ling Sangqiong? I will obey your orders, please rest assured, senior. Chang Zai and Huan Sen felt the murderous aura of cold dust, and their hearts trembled with fear. Ling Yun did not die, but took refuge in a cave. At that time, he escaped from the battle range of cold dust and the Wisteria lion, but did not want to encounter 3 first-order fire wolf monsters who were about to escape. Under their pursuit, he had no choice but to flee into a cave and block the entrance, so he did not hear cold dust's call. Damn the fire wolves blocking the entrance, I can't go out to find Uncle Han. What should I do? Those 3 fire wolves are probably just first-order demons. It seems that I only need to gather my energy and soul to be able to deal with them. Ling Yun looked at the 3 fire wolves guarding the entrance through the stone crevice, and his heart was burning with anxiety. This fire wolf Warcraft is one of the most patient among Warcraft. If Ling Yun wants to wait for them to retreat voluntarily, it will take at least 7 days. At this moment, Ling Yun wants to leave the cave as soon as possible, and the only way is to gather Qi and Soul, which will give him a chance to escape from the mouths of these 3 fire wolves. The 3 fire wolves are all first-order Warcraft, which is equivalent to the Qi Soul realm. After half a year of rest, Ling Yun's physique has now recovered and it is time to concentrate his energy and soul. Gathering Qi and soul does not require any cultivation techniques, the key lies in the soul. The world is vast, not everyone can condense their energy and soul. However, if there is a soul of energy, as long as the elixir field remains intact and is recondensed, it is also possible. Qi soul represents the foundation of cultivation. Stimulating the strength of the whole body under the control of spiritual will, combined with the power of one's own soul, to condense Qi and soul in the Dantian area. Although this does not require the cooperation of martial arts, it is not an easy task. After stimulating the strength of the whole body, it takes a certain amount of time to enter the energy storage, which is a very difficult task that requires strong willpower to support. If the power stops halfway, it must start again. This consumes a lot of physical energy, but for the vast majority of people, only 1 or 2 hours of energy is enough to gather Qi and soul, while people like the 5 dragon soul families need about 5 hours to gather Qi and soul. That is to say, the stronger the power of Qi soul, the longer the time it takes to store energy. Ling Yun spent a full day and a night, which means more than 12 hours to accumulate energy. This is not only because of Qi and soul, but also mainly because of the words left in Ling Yun's mind by Dolua old man others refine 9 and I cultivate 10, and all strength reaches its limit. This is a necessary condition for practicing extreme soul eyes. So before Ling Yun can condense his Qi soul, he must apply 10 layers of energy to the impact energy realm. There are a total of 15 cultivation realms. Qi soul, soul power, soul pill, soul infant, soul yuan, soul king, soul emperor, human extreme, earth extreme, heavenly extreme, Dala, supreme, entering Tao, heavenly Tao, and transforming Tao. Unfortunately, heaven and earth are sealed, and the last 3 paths are all called divine paths. The 3rd step is the entrance path, the 5th step is the heavenly path, and only the 7th step can be called the transformation path. If Ling Yun wants to cultivate the extreme soul eye, he must cultivate every realm to the 10th level before condensing the extreme soul eye. But others only need to cultivate to the 9th level to break through. One day and one night, Ling Yun's physical strength was almost depleted, but his willpower persisted. When accumulating energy, the whole body's strength is held in the body, and the meridians, muscles, and so on are all in a state of tightness and collapse. Ling Yun's whole body turned red, as if his blood vessels were about to burst open. He noticed a painful scream echoing through the cave. Under the control of spiritual power, power merges and condenses with the power of soul in the Dantian to form Qi and soul. Little turtle, what's the situation? The Qi soul condensed, but it made Ling Yun's vision plummet. The Qi soul he broke through and stood up with was actually a little turtle, which was a huge joke. The disciples of the Ling family are all green dragon spirit souls, but he actually has a small turtle, and it also allows him to accumulate energy time beyond the green dragon spirit soul of the Ling family. This makes Ling Yun speechless to the extreme, and it is rumored that the spirit condensed by the disciples of the Ling family is a small turtle. Would it be hilarious? I was originally the azure dragon spirit of the Ling family. Even if I were just short of a dragon fish, it would be great. What is this little turtle? It must be that I inherited my master's spirit. Is master's spirit a little turtle? No, I remember the family records that the spirit used by master is an ancient giant elephant. Ling Yun was dumbfounded for a moment, and the Qi soul of turtles was listed as the worst type of Qi soul due to their slow speed and slow reaction. However, the Qi soul condensed by Ling Yun is not an ordinary little turtle, but the origin of the extreme soul eye, the ancient Xian turtle. At the same time, due to his Tsanglong Qi soul, it has mutated and a small Tsanglong mark has appeared on the back shell of the Xian turtle. When Ling Yun condensed the ancient mysterious turtle spirit, the 3 fire wolves outside the cave seemed to sense the ancient aura and felt fear, turning around and running away. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Senior, you mistakenly recognized the wrong person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Senior, you recognize the wrong person. The ancient atmosphere is filled with desolation and vicissitudes, but it only appears when the ancient turtle breaks through. After successful aggregation, the desolation and vicissitudes from ancient times gradually disappear. The chi soul of Ling Yun's own family is a green dragon, while the chi soul of his master Dolua old man is an ancient giant elephant, so the appearance of this ancient mysterious turtle does not exist in the inheritance of these two aspects. Ling Yun couldn't figure it out, but his chi soul couldn't be changed. The condensed chi soul is what it is, and you can't choose it at will. Therefore, he can only accept it and accept it. Having a spirit is always stronger than not having one. In the future, you will be my spirit. The name Little Turtle doesn't sound good, so I need to choose a new name for my spirit. Blue Dragon Turtle and Dragon Turtle are not good at all, it doesn't seem like anything at all. Oh, God Turtle is not good either. When my spirit condensed just now, there was a desolate and vicissitudes atmosphere, which was very mysterious. I didn't have this situation when I condensed Blue Dragon's spirit before. It was called Xian Turtle, Ancient Xian Turtle. Ling Yun gave his soul a domineering name. Chi soul is generally named after its form or innate talent. At this moment, Ling Yun still doesn't know what kind of talent his chi soul has, so he can only give his chi soul a name of Ancient Xian Turtle, based on the breath emitted by the appearance of the Ancient Xian Turtle just now. Now that the chi soul has condensed, it also represents that Ling Yun's cultivation has reached the chi soul realm. As for the breakthrough in chi soul cultivation and cultivation in the past, it can only be achieved through cultivation techniques. Regarding the matter of martial arts, Ling Yun already possesses the congenital secret record passed down to him by Dolua old man, which is not inferior to the Canlong Gong of their Ling family. However, soul and battle skills are currently a difficult problem. Of course, the more one cultivates these skills, the better. This can be changed during battles, thus achieving the key to defeating the enemy. It's not bad to say that in addition to martial arts, there are also combat techniques included in the innate secrets record. But soul skills. Because the dragon fighting skills he previously practiced belonged to the dragon-shaped spirit fighting skills, and now his ancient mysterious turtle cannot unleash its true power. Chi and Soul Chapter of Innate Secrets Record. Chi is like thunder, luck is like a wheel, and chi flows as fast as the wind, breathing for a week, running for a week in one breath, my goodness. Generally, a small week of chi luck requires a pillar of incense time, and a large week is about the same as an hour. The luck trajectory of this innate secrets record is also too special. How could Master create such an abnormal path of chi luck? Ling Yun recalled the mnemonic and luck map of the Chi Soul chapter in The Secret Record of Innocence, feeling a sigh in his heart. The grand and perfect realm required by the Chi Soul chapter is a cycle of luck in one breath. This is just an introductory chapter. Luck is as fast as lightning, which can be combined with the techniques in Innate Secrets Record to instantly unleash the power of Chi and Soul. Ling Yun stayed in the cave for 3 days. Apart from the first day and night when he condensed his Chi and Soul, he spent less than 2 days and 2 nights. Apart from eating some dry food and closing his eyes to rest for 2 or 3 hours, he spent all his time practicing and broke through 2 layers of Chi and Soul realm in a row. Congenital strength, Bang Ling Yun followed the Chi Soul chapter's technique route and exerted the innate strength in The Secret Record of Innocence, punching through the large stone he had blocked at the entrance of the cave. The air outside is so good, those 3 fire wolves are all gone. It's a pity, otherwise I could use them to test the power of this innate force. Ling Yun walked from the cave, took a deep breath, and sighed as he looked at his fist. He wants to find a first-level Warcraft to test the power of innate strength. At this moment, he is in the Purple Cloud Mountains, and he is not afraid of not having this opportunity. He is afraid that he cannot bear it. Ling Yun originally wanted to search for cold dust, but not long after, he encountered several second-order monsters in a row. Fortunately, he had previously practiced the escape body method, and now he used his innate skill to unleash it at a speed no less than that of the soul power realm, which allowed the monsters to escape from their mouths. In a month, Ling Yun Warcraft chased and killed him no less than 30 times, including 2/3 Order Warcraft. Fortunately, he discovered in time that he was running fast enough. If he was directly targeted, it would be difficult for him to escape. Ling Yun arrived at the eastern outskirts of the Purple Cloud mountain range and encountered 4 first-level monsters. He fought hard and killed 3 first-level monsters, but before he could catch his breath, the last one slipped away because a second-level monster approached. Roar, Congenital Strength. Cough, this is a second-order Warcraft. With innate strength, I can barely deal with first-order Warcraft, but I can't beat this second-order Warcraft. The second-level monster rushed towards Ling Yun. When Ling Yun reacted, he exerted his innate strength and punched the second-level monster on the head, but he was recoiled by more than 10 zhang. The level of a Warcraft can be determined by its strength and aura. At this point, the second-order monster had already set its sights on Ling Yun, and it was still a speed-type monster. It was not easy for him to escape from its sight. Senior brother, Roar, a middle-aged man in green appeared next to the second-level monster and looked at Ling Yun in surprise, shouting, completely ignoring the existence of that second-level monster. The second-level Warcraft seemed to sense danger from the person and let out a low roar to retreat, but was killed by the person waving a palm. While Ling Yun saw the person casually slap the second-level demon beast 100 feet away and exclaimed in surprise, but the person looked at him without blinking an eye. Senior brother, you're still alive. Are you really still alive? Before Ling Yun could react, the person approached him at a speed he couldn't understand, grabbed his shoulders with both hands and said excitedly. Senior, you have identified the wrong person. Ling Yun has never seen this person before, how could he possibly be their senior brother? And he is only the 3rd layer of Qi and Soul, but that person is not weaker than the strong one of cold dust. This can simply be described as the difference between the two of them. It's very similar. No, it's exactly the same. How old are you? What's your name? The person kept looking at Ling Yun, as if looking at their long-lost loved ones. At the age of 18, my name is Ling Yun. I am not the senior brother that the seniors referred to as. Ling Yun can be certain that he is definitely not his senior brother. Because he has never seen him before, and furthermore, this is the mainland of Beizhou, and he comes from the mainland of Zhongzhou. Next is age and cultivation. That senior brother is so much younger than his junior brother, and there is still such a big gap in cultivation. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate. This person's name is Lu Chanhe, and he is the leader of the Tianyi 4 Symbols sect, thousands of miles away from the Purple Cloud Mountains. The Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate was once one of the several Doufu in the mainland of Beizhou, but it was replaced by the next Tianzong Dao Gate because his senior brother suddenly disappeared 600 years ago. The Changming lamp of senior brother has been extinguished for 600 years. If you are only 18 years old, then you are not the son of senior brother. I never thought there would be such a similar person in the world. There are 4 levels of Qi and Soul, and without the use of soul skills, you can kill a first-order demon beast with only combat skills. This is for you, junior brother. If you want to join the Dao Gate, then there is a Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate 1,500 miles east. If you don't want to pass the assessment, just show this token. In fact, this assessment is quite simple for you. You are under 18 years old, with about 5 levels of Qi and Soul, you can obtain a first-order demon core. However, not all war beasts are necessary. Having a magic core is 1% for first-order Warcraft, 50 to 1 for second-order Warcraft, 20-1 for 3rd Order Warcraft, and 1/10 for 4th Order Warcraft. Only Warcraft above 5th Order have a magic core. Lu Changhe handed Ling Yun a token and explained to him about the magic core. He saw that Ling Yun could use his own strength to kill first-level monsters, and coupled with his resemblance to his deceased master brother, he wanted him to worship in their 4 symbols of heaven. Thank you very much for your guidance, Senior. Ling Yun was once the young master of the Ling family. How could he not know about the matter of the magic core? If it weren't for the difficulty in finding the magic core, its value wouldn't be outrageous. This place is close to the hinterland, and there are many second-level or higher monsters appearing. It's better for you to leave as soon as possible, young brother. In the blink of an eye, Lu Changhe disappeared in front of Ling Yun, leaving a sentence echoing in the dense forest. Tianyi 4 Elephant Sect. It's also good to join the sect. First, improve your cultivation strength before making plans. I just don't know if you have the Xiangui soul technique among these Tianyi 4 Elephant Sect. I knew. I just casually asked. Ling Yun looked at the token in his hand, with one side indicating Tianyi and the other side indicating the 4 symbols. However, on the edge of the token, there was the character Dofu, which was the former head token of the Tianyi 4 symbols sect. The reason why Lu Changhe gave this token to Ling Yun is not only because Ling Yun looks very similar to his senior brother, but also because he doesn't want to think of others. Among the 3 first order monsters that Ling Yun just killed, one of them had a magic core the size of a finger, which can be considered a stroke of luck. Although there is only a probability of having 1 magic core among the first-level Warcraft, if you are unlucky, even if you kill 200 or 300 Warcraft, you may not necessarily get 1 magic core. The Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate is the strongest Taoist gate in the eastern region of Beizhou continent, except for the 9 Soul Dofu, while the previous Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate was located in the northern region. Although the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate has been relocated to this eastern region for 600 years, due to the strict recruitment of disciples, there are not many disciples under the sect. But because the name of the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate is placed here, anyone who has a first-level magic core and is under 18 years old will come here to test it. The Tianyi 4 Symbols sect is different from other Taoist sections. They never admit people under the age of 15 into the sect, and they also have very high requirements for the level of qi and soul. Ling Yun went outside the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate to inquire, and only then did he know the name of the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate. He made up his mind to come and register. First level magic core. 4 layers of Qi soul. What is your Qi soul? The deacon elder responsible for recruiting disciples outside the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate looked at Ling Yun and asked. Xiangui Qi soul. Ling Yun said somewhat confidently. Let's take a look. The deacon frowned. He had never heard of any mysterious turtle spirit, and the people present also looked over curiously. Ling Yun gritted his teeth, seeming somewhat embarrassed. He made a fingerprint and communicated with his mind and soul, placing the Qi soul little Xian turtle in his hand. Little turtle, this is what you called the Xiangui Qi soul. I have lived for so long and have seen many turtle-shaped Qi souls, but I have never seen such a small one before. You say Xiangui is good. The deacon elders couldn't help but laugh. The turtle spirit was not uncommon, but it was definitely the first time they had seen such a small one. Ling Yun did not know that turtle-shaped soul belongs to a type of giant soul, which can be as small as a palm-sized soul that has not been condensed by anyone. Generally speaking, the turtle-shaped spirit is the main defense. How to defend and protect the body if the head is too small. I've never seen such a small turtle-shaped Qi soul before. It turns out it's called the Xian Turtle Qi Soul. I've really gained a lot of knowledge. Little turtle, can you defend? The turtle-shaped soul is so small, it's so malnourished. The crowd of onlookers in the room burst out laughing, and 2 or 3 exaggerated people collapsed on the ground and knocked over, which was a feeling that they were almost laughing to death. Turtle-shaped Chi Soul is the main defense, which is common knowledge in Chi Soul. As a disciple of the Ling family before, Ling Yun only cared about the cultivation of Canglong Chi Soul, and naturally did not care about what was special about other Chi Souls. Alright, don't laugh anymore. Do you think your Chi Soul can be so powerful? Except for the 5 dragons and 4 phoenix, and the central Qilin, there aren't many Chi Souls in the world who can laugh at others' Chi Soul. The Deacon Elder said. May I ask, Elder, can I join the Taoist sect? Ling Yun asked awkwardly for a moment, but he didn't expect this mysterious turtle spirit to trigger such a big reaction. The turtle-shaped Chi Soul is the main defender, but your small turtle-shaped Chi Soul has no defensive effect at all, so you don't need to test it through a soul-testing stone. However, our previous leader of the Tianyi 4 Symbols sect was also a turtle-shaped Chi Soul. Therefore, the Rain Extreme Peak Master has established a rule that anyone who has a turtle-shaped Chi Soul can worship it in the Rain Extreme Peak. However, Rain Extreme Peak is usually practiced by female disciples, and male disciples can only be used as medicinal disciples when they arrive there. Are you willing? The deacon glanced at Ling Yun and asked, this is an exception for the admission of turtle-shaped spirit. Of course, whether you are willing or not is entirely voluntary. The 2 disciples standing behind the deacon cast envious glances at Ling Yun. The Deacon Elder has made it very clear that the place in the Rain Extreme Peak where female disciples can practice is definitely heaven for male disciples. The saying goes, the tower near the water first catches the moon. Ordinary disciples who want to go there have to rely on connections. Is there anything special between the disciples who grow medicine and other disciples? Ling Yun asked. Seems to turn a blind eye to the matter of female disciples. Especially as long as there is a little less time for cultivation, but it's a fat difference. The Deacon Elder thought for a moment and realized that what he said was only a fact, not a deliberate attempt to retain Ling Yun. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The Only Disciple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The Only Disciple. The Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate is divided into 4 peaks, namely Wind Pole, Rain Pole, Thunder Pole, and Fire Pole. It is not necessarily necessary for a specific female disciple to be admitted to the Rain Extreme Peak, but male disciples are not allowed to go there except for those who grow medicine. Okay, Ling Yun thought for a moment and reluctantly agreed. The 2 disciples behind the deacon heard his reluctant tone and immediately gave him a big white eye. If this good thing had happened to them, they would have been so happy that they couldn't sleep. A magic core with 100 merits, here you are. And this is the identity token of your medicinal disciple. Take this token and report directly to the Deacon Hall of Yuji Peak. The Deacon Elder gave Ling Yun a ticket and a token directly, and then pointed to Rain Extreme Peak behind him and said to him. Thank you very much, Elder. Ling Yun took the ticket and token, and then walked into the 4 Symbols Gate of Tianyi. Yuji Peak is not just a mountain, but the leading mountain is called Yuji Peak. Yuji Peak is usually a place where female disciples engage in activities and practice. Ling Yun's appearance at that time attracted a lot of attention. Although the female disciples in the 4 Elephant sect may not be as beautiful as immortals, it is true that the disciples of the Cultivation sect have excellent temperament. But Ling Yun experienced deception and narrowly escaped death before stepping back on the path of cultivation. At this moment, his heart was like a clear mirror, and he never glanced at everyone from beginning to end. He actually walked towards Sister Han. He's not afraid of being beaten to death. This guy has never been seen before, what does he do? Ling Yunchu arrived at Yuji Peak and had no idea where the Deacon Hall was. After walking for a while, he finally realized and wanted to ask someone. As a result, he found Yuji Peak's first day, and the Jiaohan spirit's head came up. This cold spirit is notorious for being unfriendly, as cold as frost. Not long ago, the Fire Extreme Peak senior brother who had been plotting against her was seriously injured. The anger had not completely dissipated, and few people dared to approach her. But Ling Yun looked around and saw that only Han Ling had never talked to her alone, making him the best person to ask for directions. When Han Ling saw Ling Yun walking towards her, dozens of teachers and sisters on the scene all cast strange eyes at her. Suddenly, he felt angry. He was about to hit someone, so he clenched his fists, but pretended to be indifferent and looked at Ling Yun. "Senior sister, may I ask where to go to the Deacon Hall?" Ling Yun stopped at the 10 zhang mark of the cold spirit and arched his hand, asking. Over there, Han Ling was taken aback for a moment. Some of them didn't react, whether it was due to her lack of charm or simply her self-indulgence. Cold spirit, by a stroke of magic, helped Ling Yun point in the direction of the Deacon Hall, and suddenly felt a feeling of a small face not knowing where to put it. "Thank you very much, senior sister." Ling Yun responded and walked towards the Deacon Hall without looking back, even if he looked back. At least Han Ling won't feel so embarrassed. The Deacon Elder in the Rain Extreme Hall appears to be an elder of 40 or 50, but in reality, he is already over 100 years old. The Deacon Elder saw a male disciple coming to his Deacon Hall to report, and immediately looked curiously at Ling Yun. "Disciple Ling Yun, pay respects to Elder. This is the ticket and token given to me by the deacon outside the door." Ling Yun will record the ticket and hand the token to the Deacon Elder of Yuzhifeng. "Is this proof of his identity?" The medicine planting disciple token." "Haha, kid, how weak is your turtle-shaped chi and soul that you were brought to Rain Extreme Peak to become an official medicine planting disciple?" The deacon smiled and asked. He certainly knew that if he was directly assigned to Yuji Peak as an official medicinal disciple, it would definitely be a turtle-shaped spirit. However, it does not necessarily mean that all turtle-shaped soul disciples have the honor of being assigned here. Although the turtle-shaped chi soul is limited to defense, its defensive ability is much stronger than that of ordinary chi soul defense. "It should not be weak, but small," Ling Yun said awkwardly. "He is not weaker than his own spirit, he is just small." To what extent is it so small?" "Release it and let me see." The Deacon Elder was curious. As far as he knew, the turtle-shaped chi soul was only weak, not small. The weakest type of turtle-shaped chi soul belongs to a soft shell and is not suitable for cultivation. It is completely a waste gas soul. "Not good," Ling Yun said awkwardly for a moment. "What are you trembling about? Hurry up!" The deacon shouted impatiently. "Okay. A turtle-shaped soul the size of a palm, This is even worse than the legendary exhaust soul. Kid, are you sure you gathered such a small turtle-shaped soul to make fun of it?" The deacon smiled uncontrollably, and it was definitely the first time he had seen such a small turtle-shaped soul. If other chi souls are so small, he can still understand because at least there are other uses. But this turtle-shaped soul is mainly used for defense, and if it is too small, it will be useless. "Elder, I'm here to practice, not to be funny." Ling Yun became serious and said solemnly. Okay, you're here to cultivate, not to be funny. I believe you, a person who can condense such a small turtle-shaped soul and has the face to embark on the path of cultivation, both in terms of character and determination. Being a disciple of cultivating medicine is also very suitable for you. Take the merit note and walk straight from here to the foot of the mountain over there. All the spiritual fields belong to you. The deacon held back his laughter and returned the merit note to Ling Yun, then pointed to the land of the Rainy Peak Spirit Field and said. Due to the fact that Yuji Peak is all female disciples, most of the spiritual fields are abandoned, and a few of the cultivated spiritual fields are developed by disciples of the other 3 peaks. It's all under my control. Ling Yun was taken aback for a moment. As soon as he entered the 4 symbols gate of heavenly intention, he took on a main task. Is this true? He thought to himself, shouldn't this also be a special treatment for turtle-shaped soul energy? You are the only official disciple of Yuji Peak who cultivates medicine. You are not in charge, who is in charge? The deacon smiled and said. What? Ling Yun was stunned on the spot, and now he has become the senior disciple of Rain Extreme Peaks Medicine Planting Disciple. He really can't believe it. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. 100 Acres of Medicinal Fields. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 900 Acres of Medicinal Fields. Ling Yun didn't expect him to become the first person to cultivate medicine as a disciple. The deacon outside the door said that the cultivation disciple of Yuji Peak was a fat guy. How could he be the only one? It feels like someone has been tricked. What are you doing in a daze? This is a good job. 10 first.order spiritual medicines have 1 merit point, 5 second.order spiritual medicines have 1 merit point, and 1 third.order spiritual medicine has 1 merit point. If you plant all of the 10 acres of medicinal fields, it won't take you 10 years to distribute them. The deacon smiled and said. What can I do with merit? I can't eat it. Ling Yun didn't think this merit point was something to eat no matter how hard he listened. He looked at the deacon with a disdainful expression, but the deacon looked at him with a speechless expression. What can he do with this merit point? He doesn't even know, has he never heard of it before? It is common knowledge that disciples of the Taoist sect can exchange their merit points for what they need for cultivation. In Dao Men, merit points are like the currency of that Dao Men. In fact, the Ling family also has rules similar to merit points, but the family generally refers to them as achievements. It's just that Ling Yun, as the young master of the Ling family, didn't need to worry about these things before, but now it's different. This is. Once at home, I don't know how to worry, but when I go out, it's 1,000 hardships. Kid, you don't have long eyes. Isn't it written clearly on it? The deacon elder pointed to a large sign in the deacon hall and said, which explains the purpose of merit points. At the same time, there are also some common items that can be exchanged for value, such as yuan jing, martial arts, combat skills, spiritual pills, and so on. The elder's elixir requires seeds, but I'm looking for them there. I wouldn't have to go outside and sell them myself, would I? Ling Yun immediately realized that since this merit point had such a wonderful effect, he naturally had no objections. A bag of 1,000 seeds, 10 merit points for first.order spiritual medicine, and 30 merit points for second.order spiritual medicine. A book on how to plant spiritual medicine is a gift. The deacon took out several bags of seeds and 2 books about planting spiritual medicines and placed them in front of Ling Yun, saying, Just give me a bag of first.order elixir seeds, the easiest one to plant. Ling Yun held 2 books on planting spiritual medicines in his hand and said to the deacon elder. That's it, earth spirit grass. As long as it lands, you don't have to look at it. Keep it safe and you'll have a harvest. The deacon elder looked at Ling Yun and knew at a glance that this kid had never had any experience planting spiritual medicine, so he had to give him the easiest spiritual medicine seed to plant. Subsequently, a seal was placed on the note of 100 merit points in Ling Yun's hand, representing the deduction of 10 merit points. However, there are spiritual medicines that can be planted without even looking at them in this world. Even if it is easy to plant spiritual medicines, without weeding for a month or 2, there will be more grass than spiritual medicines. Of course, the deacon elder did not deceive him either. Earthly grass is indeed easy to plant, with 1,000 seeds falling to the ground. As long as it is weeded on time, there should be no major problem surviving 100 or 200 plants. Ling Yun walked towards his spiritual field with a bitter face, carrying the bag of spiritual medicine seeds. He used to be the young master of the Ling family, where he knew the rough work of planting spiritual medicines. Especially when he went to the 100-acre spiritual field, it made him dumbfounded. Well, this is considered a fart spirit field, it's more like a wasteland. The 100-acre spiritual field is actually a wilderness, with only less than 5 acres of decent land. These 5 acres of land were cultivated by the disciples who wanted to come here to see senior sisters walking around before. Although it is for cultivation, in reality, it is just a matter of sowing grass and pretending. There are more than 10 thatched cottages near Ling, which are arranged for the residence of medicinal disciples. However, because there are no other formal medicinal disciples here besides Ling Yun at this time, only 2 or 3 of these 10 thatched cottages can still be inhabited. Ling Yun tidied up for a while and settled down. These days, he has been living in the Purple Cloud Mountains, enjoying a comfortable life. Although the conditions here are simple, it can finally help him temporarily settle down. What kind of fertilizer difference? This is just a job of deceiving people. The shortest lifespan of a first-order spiritual medicine is 1 or 2 years. If you rely on planting spiritual medicine to feed yourself, the spiritual medicine will starve to death before it matures. Ling Yun took a look at the method of planting miraculous medicine, but he couldn't help complaining about it. Planting spiritual medicine is not a matter of 1 or 2 days, and the growth cycle of spiritual medicine cannot be harvested in just 1 or 2 months. Without a year or half of spiritual medicine, it cannot be used. The idea of planting spiritual medicine to exchange for merit points is simply not feasible for me. It cannot be achieved for at least 1 or 2 years. Without merit points, how can I exchange soul skills and battle skills? It seems that the method of hunting demon cores is more practical. Regardless of it, I would rather improve my cultivation as soon as possible. Ling Yun couldn't see a way out in planting spiritual medicine, and couldn't help but secretly complain in his heart. Although he has a lot of crystals on his body, which can also be exchanged for merit points, it is obviously a loss. 1 merit point can be exchanged for 1 crystal, but on the other hand, 10 crystals can only be exchanged for 1 merit point. This is to prevent disciples in the sect from borrowing family financial resources for nothing. Ling Yun settled down in this spiritual field, and the news about his little turtle spirit quickly spread throughout the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate. When all the disciples mentioned his spirit, they burst into laughter. However, Ling Yun paid no attention to this matter at all. He did not believe in his own chi soul, and it was truly useless, as everyone said. Xian Gui Chi Soul. I believe one day, you will surprise me and make the world's chi souls tremble. But what talent does this Xian Gui Chi Soul have? Defense, such a small Xian Gui Chi Soul, naturally cannot be defense. My Ling family's Zhanglong Chi Soul can fully utilize its Chi Soul power through the Zhanglong battle technique. If you have divine assistance during battles, what can you do? Ling Yun looked at the mysterious turtle spirit that appeared in his hand and pondered, saying, most of the Chi Soul talents are reflected in battles, but how can this Xiangui Chi Soul play such a small role? Ling Yun was pondering the talent of the mysterious turtle spirit while practicing the innate secrets record. Previously, in the Purple Cloud Mountains, he was often chased by monsters and had no time to practice the innate secrets record. Now it has settled down and runs at least 100 times a night. From the beginning of a week and an hour, to now running a big Sunday requires only 1 pillar of incense, and after half a month, his cultivation has once again broken through, stepping into the 5th layer of Qi and Soul, and his innate strength has naturally reached the level of small success. End of this chapter. 10. Chapter 10. Sharing Meals with the United States. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Sharing meals with the United States. Half a month later, Ling Yun is now responsible for taking care of this 100-acre of fertile land, but before that, Ling Yun had bought 1,000 seeds from the Deacon Hall and had no further action. In half a month, even if we spend an hour every day planting spiritual medicine, we have already planted 1,000 seeds on the ground. Moreover, the cultivation of earthly grass is the simplest, requiring only weeding and not caring about anything else, even watering. A strong force. The elder of the Deacon Hall arrived at the spiritual fields, hoping to see how Ling Yun was managing them. But I saw Ling Yun practicing martial arts. The innate strength is mainly explosive, unleashing its power in the shortest possible time. It is strong and powerful, with a tendency to fall with a single move of the same level, and immediately retreats after making a move. There are not many combat techniques in the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate that can achieve such effects. Elder, I don't know what it means to find a disciple. Ling Yun had just become engrossed in his martial arts practice when he heard the voice of the deacon elder before stopping. Kid, are you okay to ask? Take a look at these places like you. Now that you have taken over the spiritual field here, you need to take good care of it. How can 100 acres of spiritual field be wasted? Even though you cannot manage so many spiritual fields with your own strength, according to the rules of the sect, the disciples who plant medicine should at least measure 10 acres of spiritual field. But what about you? You don't even have 1 acre. What are you playing with? The deacon pointed to the 100-acre spiritual field in front of him and began to question. Planting medicine is actually a laborious task, and the reason why it is said to be a fertilizer shortage at this time is mainly not because it is rainy peak. But whether it is good or bad depends on the individual. Do we have to plant it? Ling Yun asked with a bitter face. What he thinks is to ignore it and prioritize his own cultivation. As for the matter of merit points, he can wait until his cultivation becomes stronger and go to the outskirts of the Purple Cloud Mountains to hunt monsters to exchange. Nonsense, if every medicinal disciple is the same as you, where do the spiritual medicines and herbs of the sect come from? There are too few that can be obtained solely by searching outside. If purchased externally, no matter how many crystal mountains there are, they won't be enough to dig. Spiritual medicine and spiritual grass are the foundation of cultivation. If a sect masters a large amount of spiritual medicine and spiritual grass, the same principle applies to mastering a large amount of crystals. Both spirit grass and spirit medicine can be used to refine pills, which can be very costly. Although disciples of the Tianyi 4 Symbols sect often search for some spiritual herbs when they go out, most of the herbs they find are third-level or higher spiritual medicines and herbs. Both the first and second orders are self-planted by the sect's internal experts. I understand. Ling Yun nodded bitterly in response. Now it's not enough to think about it. It's good to know. As a disciple of the Tianyi 4 Symbols sect now, you don't need to eat your dry food in the future. For the first 3 years of joining the Chi Soul sect, the sect is responsible for food and accommodation. Yuji Peak has its own cafeteria for disciples to eat. If you can't break through the soul power realm in 3 years, either leave the sect or exchange food and accommodation for merit points. The deacon elder saw large cakes and water placed on the stone table in front of the Lingyun wooden house. Most importantly, those cakes were so hard that they needed to be soaked in water to bite. I think I also know that this guy must not have known that there are canteens in all 4 peaks, so I specifically reminded him. Thank you very much, Elder. Ling Yun's eyes lit up as he had never had a full meal since he separated from Han Chen. When he arrived here, he thought he had to do everything himself, and there were also many dried pancakes in his storage ring, so he was too lazy to go find something to eat. Humph, just take care of the spiritual field here. The deacon elder glanced at him and couldn't bear to see this 100-acre spiritual field. Originally one of the largest sources of income in the deacon hall, it had been abandoned here for a long time. You really can't escape. Forget it, take some time to cultivate in the future and consider it a good practice. Looking at the abandoned spiritual field in front of him, Ling Yun's mind surged. Evening the Tianyi 4 Symbols Gate has 3 uninterrupted meals a day, and some disciples eat whenever they want, without being forced to eat. Generally speaking, before entering the Soul Yuan realm, one has not truly reached the realm of secluded valleys. Therefore, even if one does not want to eat, they need at least 1 meal a day. Yuji Peak is all female disciples, and it is also the smallest among the 4 peaks, with only over 300 people. Because not all female disciples choose to practice in this rain extreme peak. But as for the male disciple, Lingyun stands out among the chickens here and is a unique tree. Hey, why is that guy here? No, he's eating here. How could the male disciple be left behind at our rain extreme peak? He shouldn't be dressing up as a man. You're silly, do you look like a woman disguised as a man? But you're really handsome. So what about June? As far as I know, he should be the kind of little turtle who cultivates medicine. He is the person with the little turtle's spirit. Inside the cafeteria, a group of female disciples saw Ling Yun walking out and the vast majority were discussing him. Almost everyone's gaze also fell on him. A male disciple ran to the female disciples' cafeteria to have a meal together, which was a dream for all the disciples of the Tianyi Four Symbols sect. If Ling Yun bought the cloud with this honor, he could exchange it for many merits. Can you get me some extra food? The female disciple has a small appetite, so the spoon for making rice is naturally much smaller. This spoonful of rice is not enough for Ling Yun to eat. Here you go, the young and slightly older female disciple in charge of making rice looked around the people in the cafeteria and saw that they were almost there. She directly handed the small wooden bucket for filling the rice to Ling Yun. Is this considered special care? Thank you. Ling Yun was stunned for a moment, carrying vegetables and half a bucket of rice as he prepared to leave. This place was full of female disciples, so he couldn't shamelessly follow along and eat together. If you want to go there, except for the elder, all other disciples can only eat here. The female disciple who was cooking opened her mouth and said, "Ah." Ling Yun was foolish and had no choice but to take a look and find a place to sit down and eat. He actually walked towards Sister Han. This guy doesn't want to have a meal with Sister Han face to face with a bucket, does he? Oh my goodness, do you think Senior Sister Han will get angry? I think if he dares to sit down, there is a possibility of him being killed. Sister Han is one of the legitimate disciples of the Peak Master, and like our senior sister, she is not easy to provoke. I really sat down. Ling Yun sat opposite Han Ling holding a bucket. He didn't really want to sit face to face with her, but only Han Ling had a table here. Ling Yun didn't think so much, he just sat down and started eating. Ling Yun's practice of innate secrets is not only about cultivating qi and soul, but also about cultivating physical body. His consumption is high, so naturally his bucket of rice is also high. End of this chapter.